My motion that everybody in this room got filthy behind that counter. Hit the road.
Hey, listen to me. Look here. I'm a good guy. I've got a lot with my wife and family. I don't need to die. I've got a great wife. I've been married to her 40 years.
This isn't worth it. This is a problem. Please don't. Please don't. Please.
Walls.
This is Cristiano Alves Terto, who was in a Brazilian court for attempted murder. In 2012, 38-year-old Francisco Cleidivaldo Mariano de Moura and Francisco Alves were arguing over a missing donkey when Moura shot him. Alves was rushed to the hospital, but he succumbed to his injuries. Moura was subsequently arrested, and during his trial, Alves' son, 27-year-old Terto, snuck his gun into the court. As the proceedings continued, you could see Terto make his way to the front where Moura was sitting. Terto's sister sensed his intentions and tried to hold him back, but she was no match for him as he rushed to the front. Moura noticed the commotion and tried to hide for cover behind the judge's desk, but Terto followed him up and shot him until he ran out of bullets. Then he hit him with the empty gun a few times and then made a run for it. Moura was rushed to the hospital and was able to make a full recovery. Terto was later apprehended and is facing attempted murder charges. However, Cristiano Alves Terto wasn't the first person to pull such a crazy move in court.
Walls.
There's the case of 25-year-old Tongan Crip gang member Siale Angilau, who's in a Utah court on several charges, including robbery, weapons offenses, and assault. Angilau and some members of his gang were arrested for gang-related racketeering and the shooting of 2 U.S. Marshals. In court, the prosecution brought an ex-member of the Crip gang to testify. However, as he was detailing the gang's criminal behavior, Angilau couldn't take it.
Walls.
Don't fucking move. Drop the pen. Drop the pen out of your hand. Drop it out of your hand.
He stood up, grabbed a pen from a lawyer, and ran towards the ex-gang member. Angilau's plan was to stab the testifier right there in court, but as he jumped over the counter, a U.S. Marshal, guiding the witness, fired multiple shots at him.
Boom, 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 and then boom, 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 boom.
Following the commotion, Angilau was rushed to a nearby hospital, but unfortunately, he didn't survive. The ex-gang member wasn't harmed. However, it's not the first time a convict has lost control in court.
Stop recording.
Just like what happened in the notorious case of 52-year-old Aubrey Trail, who's facing murder charges in Nebraska. On November 15, 2017, Trail and Sydney Loof went on a date after connecting on Tinder. The next day, Loof went missing, and weeks later, her remains were discovered in garbage bags. During investigations, detectives got receipts and video evidence of Loof and Trail hours before she went missing. The evidence revealed that Trail and his girlfriend, Bailey Boswell, had bought several tools that they used in murdering and severing her body. On noticing the police had evidence of their crime, the couple ran to another state and made several videos trying to prove their innocence.
Curious, are we not allowed to tell our side of this? Again, I'm just a criminal, so you're going to believe none of this, and I guess it's really irrelevant. We have apparently murdered this lady. I'm a thief, but I mean, goddamn, I've never killed anyone in my life. I've never hurt a female in my life. So take that for whatever the hell it's worth.
Eventually, officers quickly arrested Trail and his girlfriend. When he was questioned, he told officers that Loof's death was a mistake.
There was lots of violent sex involved. There was strangulation involved. It was not supposed to go as far as it did, but it did. Well, that's you don't remember why you bought things. You don't remember why you were going places. She was laid as she was because we believe in that position, and because of what's missing from her, that she will come back.
Trail pleaded not guilty, and during his trial, he brought out a razor blade that he had smuggled into the court. Then he screamed that his girlfriend was innocent and slashed his throat multiple times.
Lady is innocent, I curse you all.
Stop recording.
Officers quickly intervened, and Trail was rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, he recovered. On his next court appearance, officers ensured that he was properly restrained. During the testimony phase, Trail told the court his version of the story around Loof's death.
You know, she was in desperate straits, I guess is the right way to put it, and I'm sorry to say I played on that. Sidney Loof died that night. Later down the road, I come up with a story to try to protect me and her, you know, mostly her, but because it was only me, Bailey, and Sidney there the night Sidney died.
What did you use to dismember the body?
I used a saw that it's similar to a hacksaw blade, but it's I call it a curve saw. On hindsight, it was a really bad decision, but it's one I own. I mean, I did it. I have to live with it.
Before he was sentenced, Trail addressed Loof's family, but he refused to apologize.
First, I would like to say that even though I have to direct my statement to the court, I understand that it's not for the court, it's for Sidney Loof's family. And I also want you to know that my attorneys could only defend me on what I told them, and I think they did a great job at that, but they could only work with what I told them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I guess last request is, I don't want to do this like a coward. Is there any way that I can come to that side of the table and face the Loof family when I read this statement to them?
No, sir, you need to stay where you are.
Yes, ma'am. I am writing this down so that I don't leave anything out, as this will be the only time I get to address Sidney Loof's family. I realize that nothing I can say here today will change in the least what I did to Sidney 3.5 years ago. I won't say I'm sorry, as that would be an insult to you after what I've put you through, and I won't ask for forgiveness, as I don't believe there is such a thing. I doubt that there is such a thing as closure in a case such as this, so I won't pretend that I am doing that. I am only doing what I should have done 3.5 years ago.
Trail was subsequently sentenced to death.
Do find the said defendant as to the charge of count 1, murder in the first degree, guilty of murder in the first degree by purposely and with deliberate and premeditated malice.
His girlfriend was sentenced to life. However, while Aubrey Trail's action was shocking, it's nothing compared to the chaos caused by Michael Marin. An American lawyer and millionaire who's in a Phoenix court for arson and insurance fraud. Marin was an alumnus of Yale Law School and had a mansion that contained rare art pieces. Marin was living his best life as a millionaire and successful Wall Street trader. He had traveled to different continents and even climbed Mount Everest.
High altitude acclimatization climb up to 25,000 feet.
Things started getting bad for Marin when his mansion mysteriously caught fire, and he barely escaped with the help of scuba gear.
Okay, what's your emergency?
My house is on fire.
Are you going to be able to get out?
I've got one of those ladders.
You have a ladder where?
I'd rather work on that than talk to you, so let me get the hell out of here.
In the hospital, a grateful Marin recollected what happened.
I realized that I actually had some air left in that tank, and that's what enabled me to get back to the window and deploy that ladder. If I hadn't had those two things, we wouldn't be talking.
Following investigations, detectives discovered that the fire had been deliberately started, and Marin was arrested and charged in court. Marin could spend a minimum of 7 years in prison if found guilty. In court, Marin's attorneys argued that he was innocent, but the jury returned a guilty verdict.
Can you please read the verdict?
We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action, upon our oaths, do find the defendant, Michael James Marin, guilty of arson of an occupied structure. We further find this offense is a dangerous felony because the offense involved the discharge, use, or threatening exhibition of fire.
Watch closely, and you will see Marin put something in his mouth as soon as he hears the guilty verdict.
Fire, a deadly weapon, or dangerous instrument. Yes. Signed by the foreperson. Is this your true verdict? So say you one and all?
Yes.
Before the judge could sentence him, Marin appeared to swallow the same hidden substance again. As the judge began reading his sentence, Marin started coughing and seizing. By the time officers rushed in, he had collapsed.
Your Honor, Your Honor, Your Honor. No.
Fire the suspects down.
Marin was later rushed to the hospital, and it was discovered that he had poisoned himself with cyanide pills. Marin did not survive. However, when emotions run high in court, the actions of Michael Marin and Shawn Stines leave us questioning sanity itself. 43-year-old Stines is in court for first-degree murder in Kentucky after gunning down a district court judge. On September 19, 2024, police received 911 calls about an active shooter in the Letcher County Courthouse. When officers arrived, they discovered that former Letcher County Sheriff Shawn Stines had fatally shot 54-year-old Judge Kevin Mullins. Video footage showed both men appear to be arguing in the judge's office when Sheriff Stines shot him. Following the first shot, the judge went under his table, but Stines still shot him at point-blank range. The judge stopped moving, but before Stines left, he fired a last shot at the unresponsive man. Stines was later arrested. He pleaded not guilty in court, and his case is still ongoing. However shocking Shawn Stines' actions were, how does it compare to the case of Clay Allen Duke, a Florida man who took matters into his own hands after his wife was sacked as a school teacher? In December 2010, Duke attended the school board meeting to let them know how he felt. Duke's family was battling tough times and relied on the wife's salary for upkeep. Midway through the meeting, Duke requested to address the board, but before he began, he ensured the board knew he was there for vendetta.
My motion is that everybody in this room behind that counter hit the road.
Before the board members could put in a word, Duke pulled out his gun. He orders the women to leave.
You may leave, you may leave.
Dean, he told you
Women can leave. 6 men stay. Everyone else leaves.
The women promptly left, including the only female board member, Ginger Littleton. However, Littleton couldn't just leave the men at the mercy of a hurting man, so she intervened.
No, Ginger. Ginger, go on.
Duke quickly foiled her plan, but it distracted him enough for more experienced officials to arrive. Having dealt with Littleton, Duke again turned his attention to the men where the board chair tries to reason with him.
Worked elementary.
John.
You see, our benefits have run out. See what I'm saying? She was fired.
I'm either going to the grave or going to prison.
Hey, listen to me. Look here. I'm a good guy. I've got a lot with my wife and family. I don't need to die. I've got a great wife. I've been married to her 40 years. I've got 2 great boys. Please, just talk to us. If I can help you get your wife a job somewhere else, I'll be glad to do that.
Hey, listen, I'm the one that signed the paper, right? Okay. I don't remember, and I don't know who she is. But let them go. I'm the one that did it. I mean, they don't sign the papers. I'm the only one that signs them. Will you let them go? Here's what I don't want to happen. I don't want anybody to, just listen to me for a minute. I don't want anybody to get hurt, and I've got a feeling that what you want is the cops come in and kill you because you're mad, because you said you're going to die today. But why? This isn't worth it. This is a problem. Please don't. Please don't. Please.
With the board chair still speaking, Duke fired at him again and again and again.
Please don't. Please.
According to reports, Duke fired 14 rounds. Luckily, none of the bullets touched anybody. As Duke was still firing at the board members, the school guard, Mike Jones, an experienced ex-police officer, finally reached the hall and shot him. The bullets caught Duke in the legs, and he quickly fell to the floor.
I seen him bringing his weapon up and pointing straight at the superintendent.
Please don't. Please don't. Please.
I said, oh God, here we go. Flung this door open to my left, stepped through the door with my weapon. He fired the first shot at the superintendent. I fired my first shot and hit him, which spun him around. As he spun around, I took 2 more steps over behind here and I shot him again, and he went down.
Duke returned fire, but the experienced guard had already taken cover. Wounded and down, Duke turned the gun on himself. No one else was injured in the madness. Just when you thought you'd seen it all, another convict surpasses Clay Allen Duke's wild courtroom display. Enters Sloboden Pralkaj, who's in the International Criminal Tribunal for war crimes committed during the Bosnian War. Pralkaj was a major figure during the war and allegedly oversaw the murder of several people. He was also accused of attacking multiple international organizations. Pralkaj insisted that he was innocent, but the International Criminal Court found him guilty and recommended a 20-year sentence. But Pralkaj appealed the verdict. During the appeal, the verdict confirmed the sentence.
Dismisses the prosecution's appeal concerning Pralkaj in all other respects, affirms the sentence of 20 years of imprisonment subject to credit being given under Rule 101C of the rules for the period he has already spent in detention. Mr. Pralkaj, you may be seated.
After hearing the verdict, Pralkaj loudly protested the judgment.
Seated.
Suci, Sloboden Pralkaj nije ratni zločinac. S prijezirom odbacujem vašu presudu.
As the judge tried to restore calm, Pralkaj pulled out a bottle of liquid and drank it.
Stop, please. Please sit down.
As the trial continued, Pralkaj announced to everyone that he had taken poison.
There's findings that Petkovic was responsible as a participant in a JCE under JCE.
Problem here. Let's show a little bit of compassion. He's not in good position here. To je otrov koji se popio.
I have taken poison.
The trial was immediately suspended as officials rushed to provide aid.
On dit qu'il a bu un poison ce matin.
Okay, we suspend, please, the curtains.
Pralkaj was rushed to the hospital, but he didn't make it. While it was clear that Sloboden Pralkaj wasn't happy to hear they were guilty, his reaction to the verdict was similar to the case of 19-year-old Cyrus Mathews. Who's facing road rage charges in Ohio. In 2017, Mathews was sentenced to 60 days in prison for a road rage incident and was granted an opportunity to speak.
I'm sorry for, acting immature on the road. I understand that, being on the road, you do have other people's lives in your hand. And, I should have thought about that. Is there, any way that we could reverse this jail time?
Well, you're going to have to go to jail today. If you need to get out to attend the hearing, we can consider furloughs. Okay, but right now you're going to go to jail today.
However, his apology was only a pretense. Immediately, the judge refused to lower his sentence. Mathews decided that he was done with the proceedings and started to leave.
You have to go today, right? Hey.
The judge threatened him with additional charges, but Mathews had no plans of stopping.
You have him charged with escape, felony escape if he doesn't get back to this court.
Before leaving the building, he hesitated momentarily as a bailiff tried to advise him. However, once the teenager saw his girlfriend, he teamed up with her and fled. Minutes later, police gave chase.
He was sentenced to jail and took off. I saw him turn north onto Lyman from Maple. He was in an older gray four-door vehicle.
28, he's not. He's running red lights at Hartman, passing on the right at Williams Reserve. My speed's 90, trying to catch up. Wadsworth, I think we're going to have a code 2. We're going to have a code 2 at Akron, 76.
By the time they caught up with him, he had crashed his vehicle and hit a car carrying a mother and her baby.
The crash mangled 2 vehicles, leaving parts scattered across Akron Road near I-76 and knocking down a gas station sign. An innocent mother, father, and their baby in an SUV suffered minor injuries.
Matthews' vehicle was so damaged that officers had to break up the car to free him and his girlfriend.
Where's he at? All right, we're gonna have multiple vehicles, airbag deployment. Ma'am, are you okay? Okay. She's okay. All right, we got squads coming. Ashley, help them get out! Help them get out!
He couldn't stop crying as officers worked to rescue him from the damaged car.
You gotta breathe tight. Breathe in and out. 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 Wadsworth, I'm gonna need multiple squads. I need help, sir. Okay. Okay. Sit tight. What was going on? Why were you taking off?
Because they're trying to lock me up for 90 days and I have a whole life.
So what happened?
I tried to run like...
Why?
I don't know.
Mathews and his girlfriend were transported to the hospital. He was later sentenced to 425 days. If you thought these reactions were shocking, you'd be amazed at this video of the youngest death sentences of all time.